Why, hello everyone. It's Jeff Berner back with you for Module 2 in Unit 2, where we're going to talk about the factors that have led to the growth of the sports and entertainment marketing industry. I know you can't wait to go with me on this fun journey. Here we go. In this module, we're going to be talking about the factors that have impacted the growth of the sports and entertainment marketing industry. The first factor we're going to talk about is increased participation in sports. The U.S. Youth Soccer Association reports that there were 100,000 registered players in 1974. Today, that same organization has grown to over 3.5 million registered players and over 800,000 coaches and volunteers. It's not just soccer. The number of U.S. golfers has risen to 12.6% of the population versus 3.5% just 50 years ago. And according to the National Federation of High School Sports, lacrosse has seen a 280% increase in participation in just the last decade. And it's not just regular sports that we are talking about here. It's also the fringe sports that have grown as well. Among sports and recreation activities that grew more than 15% in the last 10 years, skateboarding was number one with 74.1% growth, according to the National Sporting Goods Association. One of the biggest segments to see an increase in participation has been women in athletics and sporting competition. Before Title IX in 1972, there were little less than 300,000 girls participating in high school sports. Since Title IX, as a matter of fact, in 2010, there were over 3 million girls participating in high school sports. Now keep in mind, for the sports industry, also those are athletes who are buying products and merchandise that are related to sports. U.S. television broadcast 800 hours of sports in 1971. Compare that to the coverage of the 2016 Olympics by NBC. It was in Rio, Brazil. They had over 6,000 hours of television coverage across all of their platforms. That would include NBC, USA, Bravo, CNBC, MSNBC. And also, 130 competitions were streamed online. According to a Los Angeles Times story, Americans collectively spent 31 billion hours watching TV last year. That's a 40% increase from a decade ago. The next factor is an increase in sports and entertainment offerings. In other words, new sports for different people to play. An example is disc golf or frisbee golf. The sport had 560 courses in the U.S. in 1995. By 2017, the number has grown to over 7,000, and the sport has averaged 16% growth annually over 15 years. Some fringe sports are making their way into the mainstream for high school athletics. In 2013, Hawaii became the first state to sanction surfing as an officially recognized high school sport. And not to be outdone, Missouri became the first state to officially recognize bass fishing. Bass fishing. Okay, I could have been a state champion in that if I went fishing. And it's not just participating in sports that has increased. ESPN was founded in 1979, and their marketing and programming have increased exponentially since that time. They cover over 65 sports, but they also cover the World Poker Championships, the Little League World Series, fishing, spelling, billiards, arena football, eating championships. And they even created the X Games for the sports like skateboarding and snowboarding and all those other sports that I'm really bad at and require balance. The fourth factor that we want to talk about is the attendance boom in sports. Let's take a look at the NHL. It enjoyed its highest attendance figure in league history in 2016-17. It had attendance at over 21 million fans going to visit NHL arenas. Now, that might not seem like a lot, but to put it in perspective, they had 7.7 million fans in the 1978-79 season. And it's not just sports. Over 75% of the movies in the top 50 all-time highest-grossing films were released after the year 2000. Now, nearly 50% of the films in the top 10 were released in 2015 or later. The highest-grossing film of the 70s was Star Wars at just under 800 million in ticket sales. And in the 80s, it was E.T. at over 750 million in ticket sales. In 2016, the release of Star Wars: The Force Awakens barely beat the world record by Jurassic Park when it took just 12 days to surpass the 1 billion mark. The next factor is media coverage. Media coverage of sports and entertainment has grown significantly in the past half century. It puts athletes and entertainers in the public eye with incredible frequency. The last factor that we're going to talk about are global products. And for sports, apparel, and equipment is continuing to grow. Nike and Under Armour are two of the U.S. companies that are competing against the likes of Adidas and Puma worldwide. Now, Nike is one of the biggest companies in the world, but Adidas and Puma are fighting fiercely to take away some of their market share. And it's not just the apparel that's going worldwide, so are leagues. The NBA has played regular season games in London and China, and in 2016, the Oakland Raiders and the Houston Texans played a game in Mexico City that drew nearly 77,000 fans. According to the USA Today, 205,000 fans attended a fan fest that was related to the game, and 55,000 took place in additional community events related to the NFL game. The NFL plans to build on that success and to have more games in Mexico. The internet and new technologies are also making sure that this expansion of the sports and entertainment marketing industry is continuing to happen. Worldwide video game industry is $100 billion industry per year. Sports and entertainment consumers are increasingly turning to streaming content to consume major events. Super Bowl 51 was reportedly the most live-streamed Super Bowl ever, delivering an average minute audience of 1.72 million. One of the things that the internet has done a great job is tapping into something we call fandom. Fandom is a term used to refer to a subculture composed of fans characterized by a feeling of sympathy and camaraderie with others who share a common interest. Fandom can be about a sports team, and we have websites that are dedicated to those sports teams. That means both professional and college, but it can be more than that. It could be a movie series like Star Wars. You could be part of their fandom, and you could be like a high school business teacher and be a fan of like Buffy the Vampire Slayer and her fandom and join their websites and dress up. And not that I would do any of that, but you get the idea. Okay, so those are the factors that have led to the growth of the sports and entertainment marketing industry. Read below on the Schoology page. There's a lot of information on this page. I know it's filled up with a lot of facts and different things, but they will help you out. If you go on to the next module, you're going to see sort of a timeline of milestones that are important to the sports and marketing sports and entertainment marketing industry. I'm not going to do a video for that timeline, but I'll skip ahead a couple of modules. But make sure that you check it out, and then make sure you do the activities that are assigned to Module 1. And good luck, young Padawans. May the Force be with you.